Okay, hello everybody, I'm TorridTheorizes, your online hotspot where you find out what's hot and what's not. And boy, have I just had a really big theory. It's so big, in fact, that I didn't even have time to write this down. I mean, I'm so pumped for this idea that I have to get it right now, recorded, and I didn't want to write it down in case I forgot anything while writing it down. And so this video is going to be entirely unscripted, so you'll have to forgive me if I trip over my words, if I repeat words and phrases like I kind of did just now, and if there are long pauses between sentences or even words and stuff. So anyway, here it goes. If the title of the video was any indication, this theory concerns the animatic for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 5 preview. Okay, so here's your basic rundown of the animatic. It starts out with Twilight and the others, entering in the Castle of Friendship, and, yeah, they're just talking, and Twilight's all like, I'm the Princess of Friendship now, yada yada yada, I should be out there, so why would the Tree of Harmony give me a castle that would basically ground me in Ponyville and all that stuff, basically another sort of character arc, midlife crisis kind of deal, like we kind of had in the last season, where Twilight's wondering about her duties as a princess and all, that sort of thing. And the other characters are just basically doing what they usually do, acting in character, all that good stuff, blah 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 blah. So then when they all sit down on their respective thrones, which we never actually saw them do up until that point in the animatic, I mean show-wise, their cutie marks all glow, and a crystal table rises out of the floor, and it turns out that that's a map. And, basically a whole map of Equestria, and it's all like holographic and stuff. It's like really cool. And so basically Twilight realizes that the map is a way to help her get out there and spread the message of friendship and all that. And so suddenly there's a spot glowing on the map, or the cutie marks are highlighting the map, place on the map. I don't know. We'll see better when the episode eventually airs. And the main six are guided that one spot in Equestria where they start their mission of spreading friendship to all. And then we get to the next scene. So they're basically out there, like, kind of literally in the middle of nowhere. I mean, they're all hiding behind a rock, just viewing this town from a distance. And this town is basically just a row of buildings. Some have even gone so far as just to call it a hallway of buildings. And they're observing it from a distance, and they're saying, I don't know why the castle would lead us here. I mean, everything's just fine. And, well, they do get sort of the impression that something is kind of off about it. They can't quite put their finger on it, or hoof on it, if you will. And then Pinky blatantly points out that their smiles are fake. And they all start to notice, like, other abnormalities. Like, most glaringly obvious is that they all have the exact same cutie mark, which happens to be an equal symbol. The mathematical 2 bars thing. They all have that for a cutie mark for some odd reason. And, well, they basically know there's definitely something up now, and that's kind of where the animatic ends. So that's the rundown of the whole thing, and, oh shoot. Okay. Now, it's been stated at being less than what was given at the last convention for Season 4. I mean, like, they had whole clips, they had, like, slightly more finished clips from, other episodes spreading out throughout the season, and even a whole song, but here, they're just given, like, 2 scenes, and, like, basically the opening to the first episode, and that's it. We've got nothing else. But it is kind of disappointing some people, and Tommy Oliver has basically pointed a lot of this out. Just these initial thoughts and feelings. But quite honestly, I think we were given a lot more than we could have ever asked for, and this is what has me really excited here. This is the reason I'm doing this video. I'm recording this unscripted. Okay. So first of all, we have what is simply the most bizarre thing to ever happen on My Little Pony since Party of One, Discord's first appearance, and I don't know, whatever else is truly bizarre and strange since then. Now, right off the bat, when I first saw this animatic myself, this setup actually reminded me a lot of that one particular infamous episode of The Twilight Zone, where there's this little omnipotent kid, and he's demanding that everyone around him be happy and all that, and if they're not cooperating with his sinister ways, that he'll do something awful to them. And that's the vibe, that is the serious vibe I'm getting from there. If these ponies do not comply to whatever is behind this, then something awful will happen to them. So, like, obviously their smiles are fake because they're under threat. So, that means we're getting a new villain. We are getting a new villain. And I'm not talking on the Flim Flam Trixie scale. I'm not talking on the Diamond Dog Ahuizotl scale. I'm talking, like, on the Discord scale. You know, like a notch above Sombra and Sunset Shimmer. This is a totally legit theory because this is the season opener. So we have a new villain to establish. I mean, it's a season opener. They always do stuff like this in season bookends. You know, like that's how they introduced Discord and introduced us to Chrysalis. And that's what they did with Sombra. He was the beginning of season 3, and Tyrek was the end of season 4, so on and so forth. So we are getting a new boss villain, is what I'm trying to say. Now, here's the really interesting part. What kind of villain, you might be wondering, would go so far as to make everything in this small area so equal? Huh. It makes you think. It made me think a lot. I'm starting to think we're not just dealing with any ordinary villain here. I think we might be dealing with the first actual insane villain of the show. I mean, like, uber insane. And we're not just talking on, like, levels of playfulness, or we're not talking on driven by revenge. We're not talking on, like a hungry desire or something. No, I'm talking about, like, Batman obsessed. Like, we have, like, an Arkham Asylum villain here. Possibly with omnipotent power. Okay. So yeah. This villain is, if there is a villain, he's obviously obsessed with equality, because it appears that everything is equal. I mean, the ponies all basically look the same, nothing really distinguishing about them except you can tell what gender they are, that sort of thing. They all have the same cutie mark, nothing's too good, nothing's too bad. That's obviously the first impression we get from this. Nobody's having any problems. Nothing's too perfect, there's no reason to get overexcited, but they're very much content. Or are they? And you can't tell from the animatic because it's mostly uncolored, but I'm willing to bet all the ponies in the town are the exact same color tone. Maybe not the exact same color, but the exact same tone. More equality to deal with. You also kind of notice that maybe they're all a little nervous. If you could tell from the rough sketches in the clip. Obviously, once again, heralding back to whoever this villain is who has control over them. But it gets a little deeper than that, because you may or may not have noticed this, but this hallway of buildings that is the small town actually makes the shape of an equals sign. Okay? This is where things really, really get intense. This is the first telltale sign of obsession. That's why I said Arkham Asylum type villain. I mean, think about it. The Joker, he's obsessed with incorporating jokes into his crimes. The Penguin, he's obsessed with birds, umbrellas, and all that stuff. Two-Face, he's obsessed with everything in twos. Poison Ivy, obsessed with plants. Harley Quinn, obsessed with the Joker. The Riddler, obsessed with riddles to the point where it follows up his crimes and he must have them anyway. The Scarecrow, obsessed with scaring people, on and on and on. I mean, we could be dealing with a villain here whose judgment is completely clouded by a singular obsession. And that's kind of big for me because that sort of thing is actually pretty frightening. That's a pretty frightening concept when you think about it. Man. And if this villain actually does have omnipotent power and he made this town like this with just mere thoughts, or maybe a flick of his hoof if he even is a pony of sorts or whatever, or a spark of his horn if he's a unicorn, oh man, we could be dealing with a super mega villain. But it gets worse. It actually gets kind of crazier. What if this villain not only likes things to represent his ideals, the ideals of his obsession, but what if he also resembles his obsession? You know, like how the Joker kind of looks like some of the Jokers you might see on playing cards. Now the Penguin looks like a penguin, and Two-Face is literally Two Faces. Maybe not so much literally, but you get the idea. What if this guy... oh shoot, we can't call him Equinox because that's a DC villain. Let's call him Equilibrium. Okay, if he exists. What if Equilibrium is equal in appearance in himself? What if he's so equal, not too perfect, but not too imperfect, that he fades from view? Well, what if this guy actually looks like... Okay, I need to start over. Okay, this is a villain. This is a character who looks, well, let's say, maybe uncharacteristic. Let's say he looks, there's nothing really noteworthy about him. Maybe a few things if you look up. He looks like the type of character that maybe if you look at him closely, you might notice something about him, but for the most part, you don't. Okay. And then if you do get a close look at him, you actually notice a lot more about him than you kind of want. I mean, we could be dealing with a guy who looks more bland and uninteresting than Maud Pie ever could. And it's kind of crazy and a little bit creepy in that sense, because with Maud, she's supposed to look like that, and it's funny. And Maud's actually a pretty cool character. And pretty funny. But with Equilibrium, he actually takes it a step further. He doesn't look bored and disinterested. He kind of looks boring and disinteresting, but he doesn't look bored and disinterested. He doesn't look very interested, but he also doesn't look totally disinterested. He's completely equaled. Okay, and here's where things get even crazier. Okay, I know I'm saying that a lot, but I really mean it each time I say it. If you put all this together, if this villain is so obsessed and truly powerful, he could be a major threat to the whole respective My Little Pony universe that we know so far. If this villain is willing to go so far as to twist a town of innocents into his own obsession to represent his crazed ideals, his crazed singular idea of universal equality, and he actually has the power to do this with mere thought. Well, I mean, obviously he must have a weakness that they exploit in the end, but, you know, still, he's a villain with a lot of power. We could be talking Discord levels of threatening here, and I don't think the villain is going to be caught by the end of this. Okay, and we're going to go a little crazier here. Since he's kind of unnoticeable, since he's just sort of a face in the crowd like I described, this would mean that if he does get away by the end of the season opener, then he could literally fade into the background. He could be a background pony in any episode, and we wouldn't catch it without viewing that same episode at least 3 more times. He could be a constant... Equilibrium could be a constant presence on the show. He could be constantly walking us, watching the ponies, constantly stalking everybody, and we wouldn't catch it until it's far too late. We could be talking about, holy hayballs. We could be talking about the actual My Little Pony equivalent of Slenderman, okay? This is why I'm freaking out here. We have a truly obsessed and potentially omnipotent villain who is... Oh my gosh, my brain is, like, exploding right now. Not literally, but you get the idea. Oh gosh, oh man. Oh boy. And this villain is a constant threat, a constant presence, so not even Discord can pick him up because he's like a background character. He's equal with everything. You can never find the equals, you can only find the imbalances. I mean, that's just the nature of living things. You can only ever find the imbalances, so that's how he hides. He hides between the imbalances. He equals everything out, and you never find him, and oh my gosh. My brain is pumping so fast I'm getting a headache. So, let me just try to summarize this. We have a villain possibly omnipotent to some extent. I mean, maybe a little less than Discord, but obviously enough to ward off the effects of the Rainbow of Harmony, or whatever the power is. With a singular obsession on Arkham Asylum levels, to the point that he will terrorize dozens, maybe even thousands of innocents just to achieve his singular obsessed goal. And then he gets away, and he's always there, and you never notice it until it's too late, just like Slenderman, only worse. You thought that Slenderman cameo in Pinky Apple Pie was just a nod, was just like a reference, a cultural reference. What if that's actually Equilibrium? Okay? This tiny little thing that appeared in one episode is just throwing us a bone actually turned out to be a huge piece more. And oh man, jeez, I'm freaking out here. This is huge. Okay? This idea is huge. An obsessive, always watching villain who can do anything. A villain too powerful to be stopped. Now, obviously, he might get stopped in the Season 5 finale. I mean, come on. We have to have some happy ending, but still, we could be introduced to potentially the most disturbing villain in all of My Little Pony history. And I'm not kidding. The very thought has me scared. Really. I'm kind of afraid here. I mean, I know it's just a silly idea, and if this all happens to be true, I'll probably just be like, called it, you know. Oh, look, there he is. Yeah, I called that too. Oh, look, he's defeated at the end of Season 5. Called that too. But it's just possibility right now, and it's still the concept that kind of scares me. You know, it's kind of weird in that light. Alright, I just want to say right now that this is a TorridTheorizes video, so I'm just spitting out theories here, but, you know, complain all you want about the shortness of the animatic, about how little we were actually given in viewing for Season 5, but I think we could be dealing with something major here. I think that animatic clip gave us more than we could ever have asked for. We have been given something that will only just prepare us for possibly the biggest pants-wetting we've ever had over the show. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying there's a huge possibility here, and I won't lie. If you haven't guessed already, I'm freaking out over it. I'm having like mild panic attacks here. So, jeez. Well, yeah, that's it for now. It's pretty wild, if I must be very honest. And I know it's wild, but also kind of freaky. I mean, and what is the origin of this equilibrium, if I am right? If I am right. What is his origin? Where did he come from? Does he precede Discord? Is he more powerful than Discord? Is he from the same point as the elements of harmony? Oh, that's another thing. His goal in life could be to create a new order of harmony. He could be out to try and replace the tree of harmony. Whoa. Like, how freaky is that? He's out to replace something that predates Discord and the Celestial Sisters. Like, Major Freakville. And he's out to replace something that is probably as old as time itself, for all we know. I mean, we don't. I can't say any of this for certain. I cannot stress that enough. But holy cow! Okay, you know what? I think I've said basically holy cow enough in this video. I think this video might be somewhere over 10 minutes long. I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably write it in the comments if I'm wrong, or I mean in the description if I'm wrong. But still, here's just something for you guys to chew on, to haul us over until we get through the whole Rainbow Rocks thing, and we get to October. I mean, like there's still like 2 months, I guess. I don't know. My math is terrible. So that's basically it. Something to think about. It's just something to think about in the long run. But at the same time, something that has me wigged out, okay? And I'll be honest, it takes a lot these days to wig me out. But I just want to say once again, that short animatic we got gave us way more than we could have ever hoped for. There's a huge ton of potential in there. I just want to make that clear. Okay, that's basically all I've got to say. I hope you've enjoyed this theories video. Contribute to the discussion in the comments below. Please let other reviewers know this. Spread the word. Let's get the hype going. This is TorridPrime217, signing out and reminding you to please run responsibly. Also, beware equilibrium. If he does exist, we have every reason to be afraid.